Want to thank our friends at the Mountain Air for being up and Adam and supporting local. They've been doing it for over 50 years, since 1975, helping locals at all skill levels get outside, hiking, camping, climbing, whatever it is. They're real, they're local. Josh and Lindsay Herring, great people. Check them out. TheMountainair.com, right on Marsh. The Mountain Air, San Luis Obispo.
You're Up and Adam.
Tractor systems are offline.
We are Beyond FM.
Beyond FM.
The future of broadcasting, is here.
Is here.
Up and Adam with Adam Montiel. It's community content from Concentrate. It's Up and Adam with Adam Montiel.
Some say life is where it begins. Straight to the stars is where it ends. Yes, some say life is just where it begins. Straight to the stars is where it ends. Only to start again.
Welcome back. Monday, beginning of the week. Thank you for being Up and Adam. My name is Adam Montiel. Appreciate your indulgence. Had to take a couple days off, get some family stuff done at the end of last week. Also, you might have seen a episode of The Poor published on this platform. I wanted to, it was kind of on purpose and it kind of wasn't. I wanted to give that episode because it's part of a really cool event, this White Wine Invitational that's happening this weekend. But also I noticed, and I'm glad that I posted it there because I did the update on my Mac and my phone, and I did like the beta iOS 27s. Is this what they're going to release? You know, like when Apple changes the operating system in like September. Like I got a beta thing a year ago, and I've never had an issue with it. It's kind of fun to experience the new, OS, the new operating system early and kind of see what's going on. And I've never really had an issue, but for some reason, my Mac doing the iOS 27, or I guess they call it Mac OS 27, iOS is the phone. It like put some things are just not the same. And it didn't like straight mess my computer up or mess up my flow. Well, it kind of did mess up my flow a little bit. Like I'm not connected. Like I posted an episode of The Poor when I did the Danube cruise show, went up fine. And then I posted this one and it didn't seem to hit Apple. It hit Spotify, it hit all the other places, but Apple is where most people listen to it. So I was like, God, I was glad that I did it on the Up and Adam platform. And it's very noticeable. It's the big tile that says The Poor with Adam Montiel. So if you're not into my wine stuff, just, skip it. Don't listen to it. But super interesting. I don't know. I mean, I might be rethinking doing these beta, platforms that I download because although it didn't like shake my shit up too much, it's kind of a pain. And you got to redo I don't know. It's a thing. So I'm excited about today's show though. I'm excited that you're connected here. Guess what? It is Shark Week. Did you know that? And here on the Central Coast, and we're talking from, let's say, Avila all the way down, well, really all the North Coast. So the North Coast all the way down to like Point Conception. Shark Week can feel a whole lot just like a regular week. We live in a place where drone footage regularly catches great whites cruising just off the beach, right near people swimming, surfing, sharing the water. They never even see the shark. It's crazy. And if you want to go check it out, go to Dronesy, Dronesy. My friend Eric Jones, we call him Jonesy. That's what he named his Insta account Dronesy, which is super clever. But he has just got so much good drone video, and he travels with it too. But a lot of it's from here. And you see these big ass sharks right next to people just swimming, and they have no clue. It is wild. So coming up, we're going to cast a very wide net with marine conservationist and filmmaker Kendyl Berna. She's awesome. For decades, fishermen have talked about massive Mako sharks, some possibly up to 20 feet long, moving through the waters off Southern California. Well, now a striking photo and a Shark Week investigation are turning that lore into a very real scientific question. Could the biggest Mako shark on Earth be hunting right off the waters of SoCal near Catalina? Kendyl takes us behind the scenes of the expedition, tells us about the moment a huge shark made the entire crew forget how to do their jobs and helps us investigate that delicate line between thrilling television, as Shark Week is, and real conservation, which, we care about here. And really the very real fear people still carry in the water. Kendyl Berna from Discovery's biggest Mako on Earth. We'll talk Shark Week coming up in just a few minutes here on Up and Adam. All right, before we get into our chat, I want to talk to you about my friends at Benny's Pizza. I had a Benny's Pizza over the weekend. And you know what I did? They do the frozen ones where they like cryovac it, the whole thing. And it's been sitting in my freezer for months and we didn't know what to do. Wrap that baby beast open, cut it up, put a little foil over it, hour in the oven. I got Benny's Pizza in my house. How did this happen? It was so good. I do love a Benny's Pizza, that thick Detroit style pizza, crispy pan-fired crust. This had sauce on the top. I was all good with it. And I thought it was just a pepperoni, but there was like some big chunky pieces of like that Canadian bacon. They did it up, man. It was good. Also, I got to say, their lasagna, someone who just had a baby, someone who's grieving, you're on a meal train doing something for someone. That lasagna, it is, first of all, feed a family of 11 teen like twice over. It is big, but it is the best lasagna. I love it. So check out their stuff. Check out their freeze-dried. No, the freeze-dried, that's not the right word, right? They're like flash frozen. Is that the right word? I don't know. It's frozen. It's in a big plastic thing. It's vacuum sealed and it stays good in the freezer. And I'll tell you, it heats up and you would never know the difference. I got a lasagna in my freezer downstairs and I just wait till family comes to visit. And boom, guess what? We're having lasagna tonight, baby. The family loves it. So Benny's Pizza, check them out. Get up there for lunch too. In and out quick, back at work in 35, 40 minutes. Pizza, slice, Coke, salad, whatever. Happy hour Monday through Friday, 4:30 to 6:30. 3.5 domestic cans, $2 off premium beer and wine. Some great apps that hit the spot for happy hour. Check them out. Order up 439-3838. Benny's Pizza. It is not just where you eat, it is where you land.
It's Up and Adam with Adam Montiel.
All right, it is Shark Week, and here in SoCal on that central coast that we love so much, that can feel sometimes just like a week. Like we live in a place where this all goes down, where the sharks are here. I mean, we got so much drone footage of these, sharks just next to unsuspecting swimmers, surfers. It's crazy. I'm excited to talk to Kendyl Berna, marine conservationist, documentary filmmaker, and one of the experts behind Discovery's biggest Mako on Earth. An investigation into whether a 15-foot Mako might be moving through the waters off SoCal. They're saying this thing could even be like 20 feet long. She joins us to talk about the science, the spectacle, and the moment a huge shark made the whole crew forget to even do their jobs. How do we balance that fear with respect in waters like ours? Kendyl, it is fantastic to talk to you. You are my Shark Week crush.
Oh, wow. I'm honored. Thank you.
Thank you very much for taking time
of all the sharks and humans to choose from. Wow.
I know, right? Shark Week, I know, we get into it. We love it. For, I think, 15, 20 years, or rather for a 15, 20-foot Mako off Catalina, lived in that wonderful murky space kind of between like folklore and fact, like no one kind of knew. It's the kind of story that scientists kind of maybe politely smile until somebody brings back like, look, I got a photo. When does a rumor become scientifically like irresistible to you? Was there a specific image, a measurement, or a testimony that made you stop treating this like the great ocean story and start thinking, gosh, this could be something?
Yeah, so I sort of love the scientific kind of like one-offs because very often in order to kind of scientifically confirm something, you need repeated studies. You need repeated measurements using the same sort of devices each time so that it can kind of follow the scientific method. Whereas for the stories that we very often chase in Shark Week, it's like, it is right in what you were saying. Like, it's kind of like this lore that we chase almost. Like, we'll see, one article from 1917 in like Portugal that there was a 20-foot Mako. And the photo looks convincing, but it's kind of too black and white to really tell if it's 100% a Mako. Um, but yeah, that was the case for this episode, was that there was a photo taken in Cabo of a Mako that looked very, very big, and they didn't get to properly scientifically measure it. They just had a photo comparing it to a blue shark, that made it look very large compared to the blue shark. But again, that's not actually scientific. So yeah, we love to follow us Shark Week, especially. We love to find these one-off stories and go, what if, you know?
Yeah.
Whereas for actual science community, I don't think you could get funding for the what ifs. It's just too risky to chase a what if in that sense, based on an entire, basing an entire study on a what if. But for Shark Week, we love that.
For 1 week, I mean, I'm so curious. We've had Rolf Collier on the show several times over the years, and I'm curious, like, how are you filming things like, I mean, is it like all year long you could be in production or maybe in negotiations to figure something out, studying scientific stuff for Shark Week? Or is it like maybe 6 months out? How long are the people behind the scenes of Shark Week working on Shark Week?
So, I think the shows that are every single year, like the Air Jaws, for example, they know they're going to do that show every year. So I think they can start filming that one sooner. Whereas the other ones, I think Shark Week will end this week, and then it'll take, maybe 5 months until they start getting, kind of hearing pitches from people of what stories they want to tell, and starting that green light process. So for us, we film very, very late every year. We film in May, and this airs in July. So it's a pretty short edit schedule for us
Wow.
comparatively.
Now, are you working
But
with
we
Discovery?
can't get Makos until then.
Right. Yeah,
Say
you got to
again?
think about, right, of course. Now, are you working like with your own production team, or do you kind of work in contract with the network?
So the way that it works is the network pretty much like hires production companies to make the shows. So you'll always have a Discovery, network executive who is approving the show, giving notes on the show, changing, how it gets edited, all of that. But usually it's individual production companies that come and say, "Hey, we found this story, we found these people, we want to tell this story." And then it's up to Discovery to pick whatever, 15 to 20 shows that they most want to tell each year. So I'm sure there's plenty of Shark Week shows that went on to the the floor that never got the green light.
Right.
But luckily our Mako show has gotten approved the last 4 years, I think, because people just really love Makos.
The cutting room ocean floor. You can study
Yes.
you can study measurements, migration patterns, bite mechanics, right? But then the animal arrives and suddenly the numbers, the empirical data, it all has a face, right? If this enormous Mako appeared beside the boat, what happened inside you first, Kendyl? Did the scientist begin calculating? Did the filmmaker begin like framing, or did the human being simply go, "My God, look at that"?
We all kind of turn to kids right away. Like, I think the hype just gets so real on the boat that we all just are like, ah. And sometimes, like, there is a scene in this show in particular where I think almost all of the footage came from like my Osmo Action, like basically a GoPro, because
Yeah.
everyone just like forgot to film. Like, we got too excited. It was very late in the night. We'd all gotten out of the water. It was like dark at this point. We're supposed to have eaten like 4 hours ago. And so I think everyone just like forgot how to do their jobs, and like literally forgot to film. So it depends like where you're at in the day, what's happening. But yeah, I think what happens first is you get really excited, and then the film team has to film, the science team has to do the science. We have enough people on these that we all get to kind of do our little roles. But it is really funny. We all just like, when a huge shark shows up on the boat, we all just kind of like freak out at first
Sure,
with excitement.
Shark TV, it needs suspense. Conservation needs restraint. And sometimes those two, I imagine, might be swimming in opposite directions. As both a conservationist and a filmmaker, what is your personal line between creating a thrilling encounter and asking an animal to participate in a piece of entertainment it never volunteered for?
You know what? I would say that's the fine line between every person on Shark Week and their executive producer each
Yeah.
year. That's the behind the scenes is truly our executive producer is Rick, and every year it's like Rick being like, okay, so you're gonna say that you're gonna like get in. I'm like, Rick, that's insane. Let's take it 50% back. But what we have to also understand is that this is like we see this as sure this is a little bit like salacious, it's kind of making a huge deal, it's showing just the scariest parts of it, but we also go, this is a week every year that you get to teach people about sharks. And so yeah, I would say every scientist on Shark Week kind of has their line of what it is, but we all 100% see it as greater good for conservation and getting the message out there. And we know that, the people are here to watch crazy shark footage. So
Right.
is it all 100% crazy, scary shark footage? No. I was just talking to someone else saying you could cut the after hours like meditation version of this show too, where we just have really calm, peaceful shark encounters. Cause we're out there filming for a
Well,
week and it ends
yeah.
up being 45 minutes of content. So we have a tremendous amount of content that does not make the show as
Unbelievable. Well, I was reading an article right before we jumped on of like Cape Cod, all these sharks, the most ever. And then, of course, I live on the central coast of California, and it lands differently for us because these aren't just mysterious waters on television. This is our backyard. I mean, from Avila Beach down to Point Conception, we got the stories. I've got the surfers in my studio with the bite marks on the surfboards. Like I said, I've had Ralph Collier on the show a bunch for the people who love this coastline, but also carry the memory of some of the incidents here. How do we kind of hold both truths at once? That sharks deserve protection and the fear that people feel entering the water, it's not imaginary.
Yeah, I don't think people are ever going to not be scared of sharks. I think, yeah, I don't think that's it. I think it's just acknowledging how often people are actually interacting with sharks without realizing it. Anywhere that the water tastes salty in the world, there's going to be a shark. So, I think it's just learning that they're not actually out there to kill. They're not manhunters. If there ever is the case of a shark attack, it's a case of mistaken identity, and that's why it does happen so often with surfers. Is they're just kind of out there dangling their feet, not really getting to like make eye contact with the shark, read its behavior. Once a shark is able to actually, really see you, it sees you're a predator and not prey. But that's why very often the surfer encounters are just, they take a quick bite, realize this isn't the right thing and spit it out. But, it's very rare that happens.
Well,
you're more likely to die driving to the beach.
Well, that's true and fair. We are, famous for our wine country and our tourism, but I tell you, we are getting famous for this drone footage of a random shark around a person who has no freaking clue. I mean, these drones, they just make you go crazy. So the next time you're up here and you want some good wine with your team, you let me know. It'd be great to have you up here on the Central Coast again. I can't thank you enough for the time, Kendyl. Fantastic. All the links in the show notes to the Mako and your production and what you're doing. I just can't thank you enough for the time. Thank you for being up and Adam.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Some say life is where it begins. Straight to the stars is where it ends. Only to start again.
Kendyl, thank you so much for joining us, taking us behind the science, behind the suspense, and even behind the conservation at the heart of Shark Week. Biggest Mako on Earth premieres tonight, 7 p.m. on Discovery, with an encore at 11. All right. Good stuff. Well, Monday, we got a busy week. Let me tell you, let me run through because we got a full week. I know last week some family stuff came up. I wasn't able to give a full week, and I do miss you when that takes place. But let me tell you what we got going on. Do you have all the browsers open like I do? It is just nuts with these browsers. Let me see. 3 different Chrome browsers, and each browser has I'm not even going to tell you how many tabs. I'm not even going to tell you. Okay, so we got Robin Coleman and Letitia Winery coming up. They're putting together a really cool event called Spark Joy, and it's for a great cause. Since you know Robin's from Woods, you can guess what that great cause is. Also, we talk about wine here and there. What about, and you've heard the term sommelier? There is a local tea sommelier. tea and what's it called? Like, it's a word with a C. I can't think of it right now. But like the whole art of teaing, TEA, you know, like enjoying tea, the service of it, how do we know? You know, your teas, they should be, you know, cooked up, or the water should be heated to like different levels and different steeping. People get super into it. I was fascinated by tea after, first of all, I love iced tea and I love different teas, but then Jordan Fiorentini, my favorite winemaker, gave me a book all about tea, and it just got me digging deeper and deeper. We're gonna have a real tea sommelier. She's local. So we're gonna ask all the questions. I cannot wait. Super cool conversation. And then Steve Herring, a great conversation on business and scaling. And if you are running a small business here on the Central Coast, this chat with Steve Herring coming up. He turned All About Events into just a beast of a business, and he's got a new gym now. Dude's running with like 6 or so different full-on businesses in his back pocket, and just dude's just a boss. He's just, I don't know, I really admire the drive of this dude, and he's going to give us some business advice, and we'll do that later in the week too. So we got a lot of great shows this week, even some more national names I won't say yet, but things that kind of hit big, but also are, you know, the local stuff, which we do so good here too. So that's what we're about. All right, so I want to thank our friends, Moonshiner Collective. They do original music on the show called Start Again, and they're going to be on the show once again soon because they got their Under the Moon concert series happening Friday, August 14th. I appreciate them. Their song called Good Company, available wherever you get your music, of course, moonshinercollective.com, and that is where you get those tickets. This show recorded at my SloCal studios in the heart of San Luis Obispo County, California, SloCal, where the wine is world class, the people are real, and life is too beautiful to rush. For turns well taken, visit SloCal.com. That's SLOCAL, SloCal.com. All right, till tomorrow. Enjoy your Monday. Hope you're having a great beginning to your week, and I thank you so much for being Up and Adam.
Some say life is where it begins. Straight to the stars is where it ends. Only the stars